Morning, gents.
Morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the Angle Podcast.
Nice.
How you guys doing this morning?
Good.
A bit cold,
yeah.
but
We
we survived.
yeah.
We overslept.
You haven't slept.
Overslept.
That explains it.
That I have too much energy.
It's like you had 2 cups of energy drink and coffee.
Yeah.
And how's South Africa been for you so far?
You want me to start?
Yeah,
You know
sure.
South Africa is, but you know I'm a marketer, so. But South Africa is perfect,
Yeah.
but also imperfect. It's like a beautiful. No everyone who is beautiful or handsome.
Yeah.
There's always the
Like
they are beautiful or they're handsome, but there's something. God never gives you the perfect guy or the perfect girl.
I'm
So that's
interested
like
in
South
the-
Africa.
There's energy. There's energy. There's
Yeah. What's this something that you saw in this country?
It's what I see and also what I read.
Yeah.
So now I'm here to reconcile what I read and what I saw.
And so far?
No, I've been to the nice neighborhoods only. So, but I think South Africa is it's on a good journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good journey.
No, nice. Michael, for you, how is it?
No, I think it's a bit modest.
This
You know, this one person I always say that every city in Africa should give him a marketing gig. Because before we leave Nairobi to anywhere,
Yeah.
he tells us you cannot believe what you'll find in Joburg.
like I like this
If
place.
you're not in Joburg, or if it's Cape Town, if you're not in Cape Town, you cannot actually understand
Hey, man. We must give this man
intensity.
honorary citizenship.
the energy.
Yes.
The people, even the girls. Oh, my friend, by the time you're leaving, you're like, I want to be in Joburg. I want to be in Cape Town. And it's the same for every city. And I think he's one believer who says that he will change Africa in his lifetime.
Yeah.
But today is a bit modest because I'm always like, dude, you promised too
Too
much.
much marketing.
Where is it? But I say about market. What do you expect? So I reconcile. But for me, Joburg has been really like as expected.
Okay.
And it actually reconciles the story of Africa, like from the point of where we can be, what is possible, and what needs to be done.
Yes.
And I'm a bit realistic in every situation, where I'm like, the country is as good as its people, the city is as good as its people, and what I've experienced here so far, there's a lot of work that is needed to reconcile that, the people and the city and the culture, because you can't actually get there with a section of people.
Yeah.
You need everyone to be on the same boat to be able to achieve it. So that's my feeling, and in the line of work that I do, which we'll talk about, I think there is so much work that needed to happen in South Africa at large to make sure we get there faster. Yeah.
So why don't you guys tell us why you're here? Why are you in Joburg? What are you up to?
Oh, so
Wonderful. You wanna go first?
yeah. So let me first introduce what I do. So I'm working as a marketing and partnership lead at Africa is Talking. Africa is Talking is a communication platform as a service. We basically integrate 80 or so telcos in Africa, and most likely in a couple of years we may end up being also an infrastructure provider,
Okay.
but still on the telco/cloud area. So one of the offices we have is in Joburg, and we are here to just in our pipeline for the products we sell. We work with developers, software developers, startups, SMEs, help them communicate through the various channels that come through the telco. So in South Africa, we haven't really done a huge developer engagement since we started. So this is one of the key things. But also we have a partnership with Google, where they're targeting at least to have activations in 3 cities in Africa: Nairobi, Joburg, and Lagos. So this is the Joburg session of that partnership, where we introduce developers to building with AI, building with Gemini, and also building with Africa's Talking. So we see like voice is probably the biggest product in our portfolio that will deliver some of the capabilities of AI to the contact center and to companies.
I got to be honest. I mean, I checked you guys out obviously before we before you.
We are very noisy.
I don't entirely understand Africa's Talking, like in terms of your size and what you do and how you do it.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't. Maybe
Okay,
just
we can talk
unpack it
about
a little
it,
bit. Yeah.
Yes. So Africa's Talking is really an engineering company, because most of the value we create is by doing technical integrations to the telco. So we create an interface that ordinary businesses can use to interact with the resources from the telco. So the resources of the telco can be SMS, can be voice, USSD shortcodes, KYC, SIM swap. So the telco has a lot of resources that, based on their models, they release through partners channels, or So Africa is Talking is this layer that sits on top of the telco infrastructure and then exposes what the telco has for businesses to use. So we end up being like salespeople for the telco, but we are using a technical channel. Our biggest customer will start being a developer or a technical team that wants to automate their contact center. And it has to be a scale, because to integrate to the telco, you're talking about millions of sessions a day. So if you're a small business, it may not make sense for you to go to the telco directly. You look for an Africa's Talking or other hundreds of such platforms.
So it's the business is mainly geared toward contact centers.
It's mainly geared towards customer engagement.
Okay.
But now for many companies, that's simplified as a contact center. But for others, it's when you do your OTP, when you're doing your banking, the SMS that confirms your code, when you're topping up your electricity, when you're running a channel for a government institution, you want to maybe register, or you want to check your status of something. All these channels that are open to the public through the telco, we support that.
Okay. Now, excuse the ignorance.
Yes.
But if I'm a contact center, why go to you? Why can't I just go to the telco directly?
Good question. Because we will integrate to. So the way the telcos work is really quite interesting. Is that each telco does not share its traffic with the other telco.
Okay.
So when you make a call, there are a lot of things that are assumed. Basically, for example, I could call you, but you're on a different network.
Yeah.
But I don't notice. But when they are selling their inventory, they don't mix their inventory. So there needs to be somebody who takes all the pipes and orchestrates them such that it's like one channel to a business. Otherwise, the business will have to go to each telco to get a pipe dedicated for each traffic.
Nice.
And the problem with that is the cost of, first of all, the human resource cost. You need some engineers to keep that infrastructure running. But also the cost of inventory. The telco will be like, I'll only listen to you if you're buying 10 million messages. Are you buying 10 million messages? No. But a company like Africa's Talking will buy the 10 million messages and then distribute it to 10,000 customers.
And the telcos are okay with that. They don't.
Yes.
They're okay with you.
Yes. So ideally, now you get regulated under a regulator license.
Okay.
Ideally, the telco would never even give us that integration.
Exactly.
Because they are like, we are a risk, or
Yeah.
So what happens is that you first have to get a license from the government that signals the telcos you can work with these guys. And then if there's an issue, the regulator will handle both your side of the story and their side of the story. Okay. So there's always some regulation, which also complicates
business.
And also anybody just waking up and saying, I'm going to get my own integration from Voda.
So you guys, I mean, you seem to be more correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be more than just I don't want to say just a service provider, because you're quite a large service provider. But what I mean is there's almost like there's a culture around you guys.
Yes. But this chief is the chief culture guy.
So, maybe talk to that, because there's it's not just, there's a service provider. There's a vibe. There's something going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my name is Michael Kimathi. If you find that mouthful, call me MK. I'll still answer. I work with Africa's Talking as head of developer community across Africa and beyond. I also host a podcast by the name Impact Masters, and it's just basically highlighting some of the African movers and shakers stories made in creative, software engineering and whatnot. And we believe in disrupting the status quo. And what I mean here is that there's been always what has been accepted But if it's changed, actually it changes a lot of things and it creates opportunities. And one of those things is where we believe that we can actually empower all the developers across Africa. By the end of last year, we had 1 million devs across Africa. Research 1 million devs. Research done by Google. Yeah. So our target was to get 70% reach of this million devs. And as of last year, we have 250,000 devs in our portfolio. And these are not just devs, just active devs. People who are building, people who are creating opportunities, people who are at the CTO level, mid-level, senior level, and doing different things. And one thing that AT has always been is like dev first. And the reason why dev first is that if you think about anything today, and even in the next few decades, the engineer is the center of everything. It doesn't matter what the solution is, it doesn't matter the industry. You need a solution engineer, DevOps engineer, you need a software engineer, and so on and so forth. So when you look at it that way, then you realize how powerful it is to really ensure that these guys are well equipped. The learning curve is not as steep, and thanks to AI now that you can see different change and dynamics are changing, that even someone who really thought that maybe this is not achievable, they can actually come back and see how they can go around it, because also the resources are becoming available every day. So just to delve into the culture of AT, so the culture of AT is engineering first. Also we believe that everything should be free. Like you should not have an excuse why you should not get something done. And with that, we always look at partners who actually align with that. Everything costs a lot of resources to happen, but definitely when you look at long term, the benefits are more than even actually charging people for some of these. So we try to keep our events free, most of them, and also we try to keep our resources free. With that also, we have some benefits. So most of our SDKs, APIs are open source, and you have seen different devs really put in work to make sure that they're accessible.
Yes.
And just to mention a few, like our Go SDK, Flutter wrapper, Java wrapper, they are all created by devs. And these devs just created out of necessity. In fact, one of the biggest M-Pesa API in Kenya for Ruby is built by a dev. And actually updated it a month or two ago. And the usage and downloads, it's crazy. So if you look at that alone, you can see if you enable that pipeline, if you really create that culture, how many doors you're opening, how many opportunities you're creating.
Yes.
And for me, it has always been like, what can we do different? So as you speak right now, AT is moving from a point of now we have the devs in the house. What are these opportunities look like? One of the key things is the marketplace 2.0. So you realize that when you're building on Telco, you're dealing with like 52 industries, from tourism, hotel, logistics, and so on and so forth. Healthcare. So like 52 of them. And in that, we have seen people actually in every hackathon that we do every month, people build solutions that are out of this one. In fact, we saw 2 years or 3 years ago, someone integrating USSD with the GPT API and actually being able to scrub the GPT generator, package it, and deliver it using 2G, which is a game changer. Yeah. So we're like, if this is published on Marketplace, then it changes everything, because you can actually find your hospital, or if you are visiting Joburg, you can find the nearest hospital, you can find the nearest, package delivery service, and so on and so forth. But if maybe these customers who are FedEx or the government can't find these in a marketplace, then definitely they will hire the resources to do all this in-house, which sometimes is not so easy to do, or it takes time. But with the marketplace, just maybe subscribe $10 per user or whatever. The dev makes their money, a team makes their money through inventory, and everyone is happy. And also the hospital delivers their service, or the government delivers their service. So there's a chain of effect when we open the empowering the developers across Africa, and also you open that channel to be really flat.
Sheesh, that's quite a mouthful. 250K developers.
Yeah. Plus.
Damn.
You have to add plus always, because as you speak right now,
Somebody else signing up.
Yeah.
And what's the plan? Is the plan to create this marketplace where people can come shop for the skills on this 250 plus developers?
Definitely, because if you look even at the established ecosystem like Apple Marketplace, right?
Yes.
It's actually making more money than any product. Maybe it's second to AirPods, but it's making real money for them. But I don't look at it from the money perspective. I look at it like if this money, some of it could go to the ecosystem. If this money actually could go to like build dev shops, build startup, and so on and so forth. We have seen even companies from these marketplaces like Google Play Store or AWS Marketplace actually get acquired by the company because the solution they are really delivering is good for the customer. But for us, you're not even going step by step. You're like, you have access to our customers as it is. There are no like, let's wait for 2 years, see the uptake and all that. But definitely we're saying, our customers are your customers as long as you solve for them. So, and we're making it really interesting because you just need a Docker file, package your solution as a Docker file for scalability, submit it, receive it using our products as well as the security aspect, which means also we assure our customers of the security issues when they install or when they subscribe to that solution.
This is very. And do you charge a subscription fee for the developers to come on, or is it a market related thing where you charge the customer? For what do you call it? A sales charge or something?
No. Definitely what we are charging is the usage. Like if the customer. So the dev is not paying anything. The dev just focuses on building the solution. Once they get the customer, of course they're using the inventory. So that's a charge that is not really like divided among us, the whatever, unless you are what we call market development partner. That's an opportunity that is already existing and devs are making money with it. So if you bring a new customer and you are maintaining them, which means you are maintaining their software, you're helping them with the bugs and stuff, you get 60% after the cost of goods, we get 40%. If you're maintaining that customer, you get 40%, you get 60%. That's already is there. You don't need a marketplace for that. But even with the marketplace, we see those developers coming in, dev shops coming, bringing in the customers. But on the flip side, for the marketplace purely is that once you have subscription model, which now the customer is subscribing for this extra service, they're gonna pay for the inventory. So devs is not one who is paying. But if you're in MDP, you still can make money. Like there's a way you could do that to make money. But if you're not making money, you're purely providing the service. Once you get paid $10, you just get $3, you get $7, which is a fair exchange. But also not only that, we're also offering cloud. Which means you don't need to move outside the marketplace. You don't need to worry about the setup. You don't need to worry about the scalability. And we're going to keep it really affordable for the dev so that, in fact, they don't find it like, an excuse to like lose money, but definitely to make more money.
And these things being built, it's pretty much all based for telco infrastructure or more broadly.
That's good. So the interesting thing about the products we have is that eventually they end up somewhere. They could end up in an Android app. They could end up in a website. So as long as you're using any of our APIs, you're welcome. So you could, and as you see now that OpenStreet app, you could be doing an app that's running a logistics farm. You would still be welcome. And if you want it also used by other logistics farms, they'll pay you to use it. But let me also color what you're saying in terms of a pipeline. So selling a technical product is one of the ways out is education. So we realize that hackathons are like the best way to educate. So we don't even do hackathons like it's for fun and for culture, but ideally it's for education. And even we have had some hackathons where the developers are like, we did a hackathon for 4 days and they say that's the best hackathon than doing it for 1 day. So some of the tricks we realize is that you can actually build towards the hackathon. We give even a month. Right now, our hackathon schedule is published up to 2029.
2029.
Yes. So you can go online. You can go online. You can see what you're going to present in 2 months and start working on it. Jeez. Because we are not about the euphoria of the moment. It's let's build solutions that last. So now from there, because it's a pipeline, the next thing is that the pipeline should have an exit. That's where the marketplace comes in. So if you're going to do this hackathon until 2029, we need to have you building, releasing, making money, and thinking, wow, what's the next thing I can work on? And then also the knowledge of the time has changed. There is nothing that you're learning in class that would compete with what's happening in the world. In fact, there are some companies that would qualify to create their own education curriculum because they have you finish your class, then you come to Africa is Talking. We do everything differently. All our tools are open source. It's a different ball game. So the hackathons can help with that. So you're always, working with engineering solutions or platforms that the environment you're going to work for already uses. And then you package your solution. We encourage you to ship it. And you have the luxury and the time to do that. So, yeah.
So the hackathon that's going on here today, how does that plug in? How does that maybe explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So what happens is that our hackathons keep going on monthly, but then we now, to spice it up, we work with partners. One of the partners is Google, and we showcase their product and we showcase our product. So this is pretty much a hackathon / workshop.
Okay.
So we take everybody through like what APIs Africa's Talking has and what APIs Google, especially Gemini, has. And then they have time to build. So this has been happening for the last 3 months. There are already some guys who have come and told us they are finished. They are waiting for Saturday. So Saturday, we are going to be giving the prizes up to $1,000 here. So there's some guys who are already ready. But then the hackathons, it's all about also coming, meeting other developers, forming teams, exchanging ideas. So this is plugging right into that process, but it's colored in that it's also partnerships. So we can do partnerships. We've done also partnerships with other companies where we are pushing what they are building, as long as it's targeted for engineers or for software developers or people interested in software.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's also happening here for the whole week. And then Saturday, anybody who's been building before or anyone who came and built here, I think we have over 90 RSVPs. They should be able to come on Saturday and see what we see who wins.
And from a marketing perspective,
yes,
how are you positioning the brand? Africa's Talking. Are you more of an incubation hub or an academy?
Oh, interesting. So most times when you see us online, you even think, are we an events company?
Right.
No. So this year is going to be quite interesting.
Okay.
So this year we are working with every team in Africa's Talking to identify their personas. Selling has changed. So we can no longer say, hey, do you want to buy this thing? We have to position ourselves as knowledge leaders.
Okay.
The hackathons is really just us going extra on the cost of doing, like our cost of acquisition at some times looks a bit higher, but the lifetime value is sometimes even up to 10 years. Like our biggest customer has been with us for 10 years.
Okay. Nice.
And that's how, so this is what happens. When you're a knowledge leader, it means even the finance guys, even the legal team, they're doing their craft in 23 markets. There is a startup that wants to know, how do I handle legal matters in 23 countries? So that's how we take our leadership position.
Okay.
How do all these teams identify the personas and tell their stories to those personas to get them aware that we exist? And then maybe we should create some way of them acquiring them by probably giving them packages that make sense to their business. Or giving them more than just SMS and telling them, hey, if you work with us, if you have any issues in South Africa for legal or for space, you can work with us. We can work and see, should we give you some of our office space? You see, you're going beyond, I'm selling your product, to let's partner to build your business and our business in Uganda.
Okay.
So that is how we look at ourselves, knowledge leaders, and now allowing every chapter in Africa's Talking to also lead by how they do such an amazing thing in 20 markets. And then we tell those stories with our customers. So that's really how we are thinking about it this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, Michael, you touched on this. You do a lot of free things or free giveaways. Like your APIs are free. You do a lot of open source. Most of your events are free for the public to attend.
Absolutely.
What does your sustainability model look like?
Yeah, that's really good. So let me take you back a bit. So the essence of community is based on knowledge society.
Okay.
So if you go like 40, 30 decades, or even 20 decades, even 10 decades, you would say most of the societies were not well educated, they were not well knowledgeable. But that is changing really fast. And in fact, AI is really like fast tracking that really fast. So it means that one of the key things is that even a basic person will not just look for a solution because you marketed or they saw a billboard or whatever. In fact, we were from another agency yesterday. They told us the billboard business is dead.
Yeah.
And every studio is closing down. And I think one thing people should understand is that the business of influencer is killing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's why young people are able to make money. But from the engineering perspective, I saw this like 15 years ago, whereby an engineer is a well-educated person. So they just don't need maybe even they don't watch TV. They don't listen to radio. They just listen to podcasts or maybe music and do their thing. So this person you're talking to, you are talking to them from the point of that, I know what I need. And one of the things that you really can hack this with is the community perspective, because the science in itself is still an art. And when you look at it from that point, you need to introduce someone to these products or solutions at a right stage, right? And the best entry point is always Hackathon for us as an engineering company. And what this does is that I know how to build using or integrate using this platform. So even when I get a job, guess what? This is the platform I integrate with. But of course, that one will not be for free, right? And hence the cost of acquisition that Graham has mentioned.
Okay.
But also even when I'm building my startup and I've raised money, I really need to use the tools I'm familiar with because of time, turnaround time, acquisition, and the metrics that goes into ensuring that I'm converting and becoming sustainable. So the APIs are not free in themselves, so they're charged. But for someone who is integrating or trying things out, we have built a very nice sandbox platform and the other platform where you can test. And the only thing you need to do is change your API key and go live.
Okay.
So all that is free. In fact, when you sign up on our platform, which maybe we should change, you get like 100 Bob Kenya shillings or I think 1 point something rand. Yeah, like $1, right? Yeah, for free, just to test. And an SMS costs like a few cents.
Why do you want to change it?
We increase it.
Oh, so more credits.
Yeah, you get more credits because we're adding more products.
The market change it.
Remember also things like WhatsApp, which we're integrating starting last year.
Yeah.
They cost more, and you don't have control on that. And I think also people should understand that the way it's set up, some of the decisions are based on telco pricing. So if the telco changes, we have no control. We have to make a small margin, which doesn't hurt you. But for a customer, we always think it is like, greedy and stuff. But some like an engineer doesn't mind. Like I understand what goes into these things to work because like before AT, which is like 15 years ago, you could just go and camp in a telco. I don't know if anyone has ever tried to integrate anything with a telco, especially if it's engineering, because they're always like, you're a suspect.
Yeah.
You want to come here and hack people's phone and do some...
Especially with mobile money.
Yeah, mobile money.
And the paperwork is this high.
Yeah, and then they're like, come 3 months. Then come 3 months, no one is there. You might end up spending a year.
Change jobs, you start all over.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but now with AT, actually it has lifted for that. There's one place to trust. There's one place, entry point. There's one KYC, right? And that's changing a lot of things. So just to answer your question is that definitely we make money from these devs. But remember also, one dev could be building for 5 or 10 companies.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of engineering. So you don't just need to like learn 50 things to do one thing. Just need to learn one thing to do a million things if you want. And now in the marketplace, that like even like
Escalates that.
I don't know how many times it does that. But by and large is that also we realize that there are other platforms across the world. And now even people across the world are realizing that. Now, I need also to mention that AT was the first API business in Africa.
What?
It was first API business. This chief has been in AT for the 15 years. So he should be telling you these things.
Okay.
There are people like Tulu, the other guys, but API became big after AT success. And even the companies started exploring API, especially telco figuring API was crazy. In fact,
Like
AT
5 years later.
AT had to write some code, especially on the payment platform, to be able to like expose API and offer payment platform, which we have shelved for now. But definitely you can
Due to
see
regulations.
Yeah, you can see if you are a single dev who is trying things out, how discouraging that could be.
Yeah.
And now I am happy to see most companies, even the AI companies, putting API first, which is good because now it lowers the bar and also gives people opportunity to create, not only to consume, but also create localized solution.
Yeah.
Something else I think Graham mentioned around Africa and markets, that when you talk about 27 markets, if you're in Europe, that's a different story because they use the almost similar, laws and whatever. But in Africa, if you talk about 23 countries, everything is different. In fact, even in that country, there are some things that you have to go to different offices to make them work. So this knowledge is quite important, and I think also this maybe to the government of the day of different countries to revise some of these policies because it helps ease in the business. And I'm happy on one thing that I need to mention in this podcast, which is a game changer. South Africa, I don't know if it's 2 years or 1 year ago, said Kenyans can just come in and do business and do shopping, do whatever. And that's a game changer. Why? Because you realize here there are so many brands. And here I think also Graham informed me, you don't have second-hand clothes and second-hand stuff.
You're buying music.
Which changes everything. Because that opens business, but also again, it opens more opportunities for South Africans and Kenyans. And I think most countries should follow that. Of course, it should be controlled because not everyone has best interests at heart. But it's a game changer. But it should go now even to the tech, to business, registering business, running business, getting an office, getting an address, so that now we open up and expand how much we could be able to do and the market we can tap into.
Okay. Me, I'm just HTML and CSS. Do I have a place in this 250K out of developers?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Actually, let me talk a bit about that and tie it also to the cost of acquisition. So products are never built alone. And one of the reasons why we insist, do you know, like if you do a hackathon in Africa Talking, we insist that you join a team. In fact, when you come to our platform and you're creating your account, the first thing we make you do is create a team.
Okay.
And then you create your app. And yes, because a team can have many apps. You could have an app that supports the marketing department, an app that supports, OTP for the KYC guys, etc. But coming home is this way. And especially for an innovation hub that is in partnership with the universities. A product needs the psychologists. It needs the designers. It needs the salesperson. It needs the business person. It needs the lawyer. You see, why are these startups not thinking like that? Yeah. And the easiest way to get that is in, for example, a university. Also, you multiply the number of jobs you're creating seamlessly. And it means any startup starting with the hackathons we are doing already gets the mindset that I can't build a product alone. I need someone to go and make sure we have the right colors. The psychology behind it, the pricing. There's a reason why it's $4.99 and not $5.
Yes.
That's some psychologies of market.
Yes.
But also, another thing that has helped us with sustainability is playing the long game.
Okay.
When you sell APIs, you realize that the cost of acquisition may be high sometimes because you're the only one believing in your dream. But then your customer may live with you for 10 years. But your customer may convert after a year or after 6 months.
The sales cycle is long.
It's long. But once it kicks in, so as a business, you start figuring out what are the hacks you can do to lower this. So partnerships and working with universities becomes critical.
Okay.
But the idea is that to be sustainable in Africa, you need to think long term, and you need to create for an ecosystem where while you are waiting for the long term, people are still exchanging value. So, for example, yes, we've told you you can use our API, but you won't use it tomorrow. So, what are the other things we can do? We can start introducing businesses that need the API now but have no engineer. So bring them into the same ecosystem where they take some of the developers even straight out of the hackathon. So for the sustainability, you need to think about long term, but you now also need to create new ways of selling.
Okay.
And new ways and partnership will be now the automatic thing. Yeah.
In addition to that, maybe this is a point I mentioned. We are top 1% developer community in the world.
Top
3 years, top
Yes.
1%
Nice.
across the world.
So
And
Silicon Valley can shut up.
you can put
We're in the
us
same place with those guys.
hand in hand with anyone.
They have nothing to tell us.
Yeah.
We're good.
3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have tried to do over the 4 years I've been with the T is to really like wind out the noise and focus on the signal. What I mean here is that like the last year we actually separated communities to front end, AI, machine learning. We have those communities on our platform where people can actually meet and talk about that. We have JVM languages, which is more focused on the back end. And one of the key things we want to also start is a designer community.
Yes.
And the reason why this is important is that we have seen people come to our community, meet some, other intelligent people, build something, go out there, raise money, up to $100,000, employ over 6 people, and the rest is history. And this is just in the span of 2 to 3 years. And if we really amplify that, you can see how much that can really gear up different cities and make sure that it's happening. Something else maybe of importance is that we have created a platform where we want, if someone wants something built, a dev in this city should build it.
Yes.
Or Durban or Pretoria. And our key focus is to empower those devs in that ecosystem by, of course, hackathons or meetups or a place where they can have a workshop and learn a few tricks and leave money in that city so that it develop that ecosystem and make sure that those guys are, it's sustainable, but also they have something to spend for. It could be easy to say because we have 60,000 devs in Nairobi and we have like maybe 100,000 devs in Nigeria, we can actually take this business there. But at the end of the day, we want each city to really be sustainable. Earlier this year, we launched Luxophone communities, starting with Mozambique. And one of the key things we realized that those guys are even introducing different businesses to those developers in a month, which shows the uptake when you localize the experience. And actually, someone knows this actually belongs to me as it belongs to the developer seated next to me. I thought that's very important to really point out. Yeah.
Nice.
What was the thinking behind positioning the brand, scaling across different countries in Africa? How many countries are you present in?
23. It was an accident.
A beautiful one, I bet.
What happened is that when co-founders raised money, and maybe that is how God works. If you know the problem you are going to encounter, you may remember that.
Yeah.
So you're like, this thing is we can change Africa in our lifetimes. This is it.
You guys are changing it.
Because we believe like technology is going to be like Kenya is like few years ahead of, say, Tanzania in terms of technology.
Okay.
But that pattern repeats everywhere. South Africa may be 10 years ahead of Mozambique. So
I hope we are.
Really in terms of the technology. So what happens is that the things you have already seen, you can now go and help based on their context. Like, hey, this is how it happens. But back to the question. So it was like an accident. Like, let's do it. Yeah, how can we do it? Let's just start by setting up business.
The kind
just means let it go. It's
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
But then, of course, you quickly run into what's your lifetime value of your customers, cost of acquisition, blah, blah, blah. So I'd say there's like that time when we are just opening up across Africa. Then there's a time where we had to settle down and say, what are our unit economics? And then also, going around Africa, you will realize Africa is a village, but also it's not a village. It's okay. Africa is a village with households. And the problem with the village with households anywhere in the world, the households want to keep their things to themselves and to compete with each other, even though it's a village.
Yeah.
So that's like Africa. So even if you want to build something in Uganda, you will not do it successfully as a Kenyan. You will have to bring in the Ugandans and just share what you have. And they'll also share what they have.
Cool.
So now I see the next couple of years being, and we're working on this now, even the landing pages, the storytelling, the testimonials. We have even the language on the website. We are going to change it to 100% localized. So if you hit the Africa Stalking website for South Africa, you will even see, maybe we'll greet you in the different languages. You get, like, we'll change it. I know South Africa has 11 languages. And with AI, that's easy. So we will show you the businesses that are running. The social proof for South Africa will be South African businesses. Your colors will be South African.
Context is
so important. This is where we have to go to. And to crack it, we are still going back to the community. So we have a women in tech community as well as an open community.
Okay.
So we are giving the women in tech community the leeway now to start designing our local sites. So we're going to be having the Women in Tech Design Challenge. They're going to be designing the Women in Tech in Uganda, design the Ugandan landing pages, etc. Then another community that also we are having now, which will come with this push, is going to be the social media community.
Okay.
So just including everybody. Even if you're building a startup, you're never going to have traction unless you have a very smart social media strategy. Because you don't have $1 million to burn on ads, right?
Yeah.
But you can creatively storytell. So those are the two things that we will bring in to try and contextualize with the learning we've received. Africa is a village, but it's also made up of very inward-looking households.
Yeah, survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Now, you briefly touched on regulation.
Yes.
And now on to part of your sustainability, which is scaling across 23 countries.
Yes.
How were you able to navigate these regulations that are different as per the households?
So that's a very good point. So what I learned from the legal team at Africa is Talking is that they have and which is why we are also implementing with the design. You have your core legal team or your core people, and then you now work with the local legal teams
in each house.
Because they're the ones who tell you how to jump over the fence. Where is the hole? Where is there's a nasty dog. And So that's what's happening. So I think that's something that people can take in, can borrow. You need to have your core that defines what you do and how you expect your workflow to look like. And that could also include software. Because remember, you have to remember all the taxes. You have to remember all the things you need to fill in every year. Then you need now a local chapter because also this is about sustainability. You may not be able to have a fully fledged local team. You may have to only have 2 people, and then when the money comes in, it affords more people to join the team.
Yeah.
So you would have a core, and then that core would set they'll be like the directors to say, if you are bringing in a legal support in South Africa, these are the boxes they should tick. Yeah. And then that you can scale that easily. Same to when you think about banking. And also the banks, they have let us down.
Yeah, banks are sellouts.
No, they are not serious. Someone will tell you, I'm in 40 countries. Just try to get ranking in 40 countries. Why you give up? So also the banks there, just to encourage them. If the Pan-African dream is going to come alive, you need to do your KYC once. And then they will need to figure out who you are. Maybe they're also hamstrung by the governments, but Chief, you can't do 40 KYCs,
no.
40 securities, 40
It's not sustainable.
You are not in the business of opening accounts. You're in the business of looking KYCs. There. Okay? Anyway, so I think that's a very big, opportunity.
Yeah.
If you are able to have an API of a bank that does transactions in 20, 30, 40, 50 African countries, I don't even know if we are ready for the amount of wealth that will be generated.
Yeah, 100%.
That will never happen. Not in this capitalist
mindset. There are some crazies. There are some crazies. So we're just telling the banks, it's not like they are in a fortified city. They need to wake up because people will do it. Yeah. People will do it because technology is changing.
Because the business makes sense.
And the business makes sense.
Capitalism wins again.
Absolutely.
The
I'm
business
coming for you,
the
capitalism.
business makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Michael, you touched on the API. What I mean, on ATS having one of the first APIs in the continent. What was that API and what was it for?
Yeah, so API basically is the gateway that helps you access the platform.
Sure.
Either in a layman's language,
Yeah.
right? But no one actually had figured out how to really make business of it,
Okay.
right? And it has always been guarded. It has been there because, of course, the engineering is part of the engineering, building.
System, yeah.
But AT actually realized, if we are devs and we are struggling to integrate with the telcos, and this is a hassle, and you are like graduate from MIT, we know what we are doing. Imagine now another engineer who is just trying to figure things out or start up and they are not exposed. And that's the business. The business is not actually the SMS because you can go and buy that. The business is not USSD. You can actually go and integrate. As much as it takes 2 years, but solving that problem of, you waiting for long to integrate, that's the real business. And once they integrated, everyone was like, this is it. We want to use you. And some of the companies you hear, they've been with us for 10 years, and they're not small companies. They're really big companies. Governments have been using us. Parastatals, ministries. During election in some countries is like, this is a platform you should use, guys. It will never go down. It will never fail you because also our engineering also works in a very interesting way. And this is the beauty of scale. So if sometime the local network or the local telco is not working, you can take international bid and still deliver because it's really impossible for everyone for all telcos to be down, over 80 telcos in Africa. So you see the solution actually really works at scale. And I think that's the same thing that banks should know. You don't want someone when they need the money not to get the money. It's their money. So the easiest way to say, you know what, I just be keeping, I just want to be keeping my money under my mattress, right? It's my money. I can do whatever I want. So
who did that in this country? Be careful.
but that's the truth. And this is the engineering of it. And I'm saying this with like, there's an opportunity. I'm not saying that,
100%.
No. Everyone wants actually convenience. But and especially when something is yours, there is some entitlement that should come with it. Like, man, that's mine. And then I can't access it because you guys, APSA in Kenya is not APSA in South Africa, and so on and so forth. But also the opportunities that you lose. Because also remember, Africa, we keep talking about economies not doing well. We're always still in brick and mortar kind of economies. But the engineering supposed you to really open up even the software side of things. Today, if you talk about the US or even the Europe to some extent, even China, the best economy that really never fails, it is the software economy. Look at California. Even with the streaming, Hollywood could not have survived Corona without streaming. Imagine if they did not use the technology like Netflix to support streaming. It could be dead on arrival. It doesn't matter how big it is, right? So if you look at it that way, and now we have figured out, 2G technology at large. And thanks to Africa stocking APIs that are always reliable, 99.9% uptime. It should be possible to avail almost all the services across the spectrum. It doesn't matter where you are, because you just need a feature phone in the remotest part of the country, and you get that this is the right fertilizer to use, this is the right pesticide to use, this is the right school that is you should take your kid, these are the marks for your kid, just with a feature phone. So it's doable. You just need to, and it's not expensive if you think about it, and at the scale even more cheaper. So it's just us actually accommodating and realizing that in 2026, you cannot be thinking like 1970 or 1960s. The technology is more accessible. We have engineers in every corner of this continent who are graduating every day. Our Gen Zs are the most educated and most curious people. We should open these opportunities for them. We should not be looking at Gen Zs like we in some countries, we look at them and say, you guys complain a lot. You guys, you need to be patient with the system. No, they just want opportunities. And it's normal for every human being who needs to survive. But how we create these, and I'm happy to be talking about this in a digital innovation.
Right.
Brings it here.
Right here.
This should be in every district. I don't know how you guys are divided, but it should be in every township per se, right?
It's true.
So that it's more accessible. It's like if someone doesn't have the opportunity, then definitely that's them. And of course you'll have those, but majority, I'm sure, if it's accessible, if it's, the opportunities are there, people will actually grow economies that you have never seen today.
For an organization, Africa is talking, that is a % of some of the world's best dev organizations.
Yeah.
What are some of the best projects that came out of the organization? Maybe from a startup perspective or from a project that you worked for with a telco or some private company.
Yeah, so many. I think we look at them also from the verticals.
Okay.
Healthcare, for example. There's a platform that runs on our APIs that has enabled over 1 million women to safely deliver.
Say what?
1 million. That's one. There's another platform that has enabled over 300,000 motorbike people to have insurance. There's
you insuring border guys?
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
That's just one of. Okay, let me start from the top. Having been in Africa,
I hope we have time. That's my hope.
Amen.
Having been in Africa for a while, what we realize is that there is no startup in Africa.
Yeah.
Maybe Egypt, but I'm not sure. But there's no startup in sub-Saharan Africa that has raised money that has not used us.
Say what?
Interesting.
There is none.
So
and if they are there, they should tell us. We are there, but we just didn't like you. Because we are in some WhatsApp group and someone is like, can I get an SMS API? But don't tell me Africa's talking.
People are happy to use the service.
Yeah, but they're basically saying, we know these guys, but just give us some other
options.
3 or 4 because our procurement always requires
like 3.
Are you claiming some of those unicorns that we see come up in Nigeria and across
them, but we're saying like we have been the salt and light of the world. We've made a difference. So yeah, there are some in healthcare. We've seen that there are some countries where we are supporting solar clean tech companies. If those solar clean tech companies go down, 30% of the country has no power.
30%.
Yes, 30%. We have there's another time AWS called us. We were with this guy.
Wanted us to set up in Cameroon.
Yeah, then they told us, can you imagine AWS? They told us, USSD is the future. We were like, what?
That's what they said.
Hey.
Okay, but don't quote them because they'll be like, no, that was not our press release.
Yeah, no. It was us.
But we support central banks.
Yeah.
We support education. There was at a time when we used to support quite a huge startup on education, but then they changed their model. So any vertical you can think of, we probably have we support 2 or 3 state level hospitals. We support a drone delivery business that delivers blood.
Blood?
Yes.
And food
in like
supply.
3 or 4 countries. We can't say too much because the brand manager is like, I didn't give you authority.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I don't know you. But so the impact is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Government services.
Government services. It's also humbling. I don't even know what to say, but we've done quite a bit on that. It's just that Africa is Africa.
Yeah.
And a big lesson to any startup, Africa does not turn around the way you want at when you want. So if you're going to scale and crack Africa, you have to increase your portfolio of partnerships. And you need to hope that or work it in a way that they share the dream. Otherwise, it is very easy. I have seen stories of people who live in Africa until they are 60. And then they leave to go to Canada.
At the age of 60.
Because they're like, I've tried, bro. I need to leave now because now we'll take care of my healthcare.
Yeah. I don't trust this one.
I don't trust this. But it's, it just shows that they really put an effort to try and change Africa. So my concept is people should partner more. We have more to lose when we work in silos. And number 2, the turnaround of Africa it's in the woods. We are not sure. I saw Africa Union is telling us
they want the Africa we want in 2063.
63.
You see, some Africans don't even know that is like an issue. It's an issue. Like it's 2026.
4 years to 2030.
But Africa Union believes the Africa we want, guys, I don't even know if you guys, the Africa we want should arrive in 2063.
Will they be alive for that?
Do they care?
Have you heard of Agenda 2063? No, that's even more concerning because they have already settled into that mode. They are like, we are delivering this thing in 2063. Calm down.
It's fine. We'll see you in 2063. That's insane.
Agenda 2063.
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
It's there. And the presidents are very diligently working on this agenda.
I will leave for the next one to carry on.
It's crazy. So I think that points to the fact that in Africa, the turnaround time for a lot of things may be in the woods. Yeah. My final thing on this aspect, as a startup, there might be time you need to just make money.
Yeah.
Even though you're like there to change the world or, to democratize access to telcos, whatever.
Yeah.
There are some days you just need to make money to pay your bills. And that means that some startups may have to think of life more than in one way or in one value chain. Yes, this is critical. This is critical. The reason why Africa is hard is that you may have to be changing your target customer regularly. It's not like if you're in the US or in Europe where you might handle the same customer for 15 years, the same persona. Here, regulations change overnight. Economies tank. Currencies are decimated. Yes, there's a time we lost 2/3 of our value in one country because the currency crashed.
And that affected you guys.
Yeah, of course, because we are paid locally. So now, today the dollar is 1x.
Yeah.
Next week is 100x.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Now, what does the future look like for Africa is Talking in this sense? You guys are building on SMS, USSD, those kind of technologies.
Yes.
MNOs, I'm not sure if this is consistent throughout the continent, but at least in South Africa, MNOs are trying weird things. They are doubling into banks.
Yes.
They now have financial services that they want to offer their subscribers.
Yes.
Now, what they're doing there is they're adding a lot of technologies, your
absolutely.
AIs, your machine learning, and so you can see there's a bit of a shift from the technologies that they were using in the past to emerging technologies as such. Does that pose a threat to Africa's Talking, or does Africa's Talking also have a pivoting plan to say, as the technology changes, we'll also change our models too?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say, that's a very good example of just what we talked about. That as a business, you might not focus on the same persona forever. You can see the telcos are already realizing, average revenue per user is tanking. So, first of all, I'm not the CEO of Africa's Talking, so I am not responsible for the vision. And I'm not planning to take their job. But what it means is this. First, of course, Africa's Talking will continue to be an infrastructure provider for the telcos. But the question becomes, that knowledge we have for delivering that kind of experience to businesses and startups, what can we apply it to in the other tech industries? What can we apply this engineering, the knowledge we've had, integrating telcos and their complexity? Because another reason why, and maybe to what you were saying about being one of the first people to do APIs, it's because the telco would never have given you the API anyway. You're a risk.
True. Yeah.
So you need to figure a way of convincing them that actually, when you connect your pipes, they make more money. And that was done. So when we connected our pipes and they started making more money, then they started to say like, okay, if you need a referral across Africa, we'll write the letter. So now Safaricom is writing a letter to MTN that we work with these guys, etc., etc. But then also, it also meant that at some point they also realized, wow, these guys are growing businesses that we can harvest.
Yeah.
So this relationship has also grown into like, sometimes some people will be running on Africa's Talking and then they are very big and then they are given an offer they can't refuse. So maybe we're also growing a market for the telcos. So that creates the relevance.
Okay.
So now the question becomes, which other industries can we positively disrupt?
100%.
Because as we don't believe in just disrupting, there's always a reason why some people exist. So, but the question is, can we create space? Are we seeing other dimensions of this business that the incumbents are not seeing? And can we just partner to grow those sides of those businesses where they make money and we make money? Because there is, there is no progress in war, except for the ones selling the equipment.
Apparently, war is the best business.
For the
Ask capitalism.
For the equipment makers. But really, in the ground, it's not. So what we think, or what I think would eventually happen is, you will see Africa Stocking supporting additional verticals.
Okay.
Additional to, say, just telco. That are complementary or that have an engineering problem. And by solving the engineering problem through integrations, etc., that business or that sector will grow. And there are many.
Yeah.
Even starting with something like cloud. There's a lot of space there, but there are many areas.
And Michael, you are the dev guy. And how are you guys thinking about data sovereignty as Africa's talking?
Nice.
Are you happy that big tech companies come, do business here, host the data in their countries, or are you of the view that we must build for Africa with Africans? Or all of that doesn't matter. As long as the technology is all right, we're going to use the technology.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. Actually, our NDA 2025, well, that was our keynote. Like, how do we think about it?
Okay.
And it's big for two reasons. One is that Africa needs to be ready. And ready means to so many things that even some of them are not developer related. It starts from the policy, not only policy, laws, regulation that needs to be implemented to the latter. A good example would be GDPR, right?
Okay.
Africa has no GDPR, but they're GDPR compliant. It's not our thing, right? So we need to reverse that and say, this is where the world is, right?
Yeah.
Today, 10 years ago, there's a lady known as Jessica Colasso, co-founder of Hire. She used to say in some of the fireside chat, the next oil is data. Today, now, we're not even talking about data.
No.
It's information. Maybe next 5 years or 2 years, it will be knowledge. Because now that data that existed 10 years ago, today is knowledge that is being used.
Right.
And with that in mind, we need also to even curate our own knowledge. And what I mean is that, remember, our African history is mostly erased or misplaced or with individuals, which is really powerful in itself. And if we lose that, then it means even going forward becomes new every time and it becomes slower. So data sovereignty is the most important thing going forward. And the only way we can achieve that is that work with the known to the unknown. And the known here is that the existing technology that really works at scale, mostly not largely African owned, right? And I think AT to some extent, in fact, has really been data sovereignty champion for some time. I think we moved to AWS like 2 years ago.
Okay.
We had set up our own servers. If you go to a Nigerian office, you'll find our servers and other different places. And the reason for this is not because we don't really appreciate what is happening, but also we want to break things and really learn from them. We also still have some really solid cloud providers in Kenya and I think also in South Africa that are really African built and owned that really could implement some of these regulations to the letter. So there are two facets of this. One facet is where the government actually ensures that this is actually implemented, because there's no point, because setting up data centers is not cheap. It's a very expensive affair.
Electricity.
And everyone wants assurance that return of investment is there. And the only way to do that is to say at least 50% of your data should be domiciled here. And you have seen that with AWS now trying to set up in Kenya besides South Africa. And what that does, it even makes the business more efficient. Like today, if you are pinging your server, you have to be very patient. It either go to South Africa, maybe Nigeria. Even Nigeria, I'm sure.
Especially for voice, these kinds of things.
Or Europe. Now, there's a time these guys who verify you if you're human, which is very interesting. Cloudflare was down. You saw the ripple effect, not even only for Africa, but across the world, how many services were down. What does that tell you? It tells you that we cannot afford, and this is like engineering principle, to have one source of failure.
No.
It's like basic engineering 101. You cannot have that's my source of failure. Because if someone attacks that, everyone is down, right?
Yes.
We have seen actually attack on the airports and the software that runs, scheduling and wherever. And you have seen delays, not once, like repetitively.
Multiple times, yeah.
So cybersecurity is proving that, it's about time that people started investing outside their comfort zone. It's time governments start taking initiative. And also when you have data, and this maybe can piggyback to what you used to call open source, open data movement that was really highly discussed. It used to be big like 10 years ago. And every African country used to be like, we are open data compliance, which means if you go to a hospital, there's a data you leave there. If you go to Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there's data you leave there. But if I'm building something around those ministries, I don't have that data. So open data was coming to really regularize that and ensure that it's available, it's safe, and it's regularized so that people can actually innovate around that. But all of a sudden, it started disappearing. Some people would give you like 3-year-old data, like your 3-year-old, whatever solution you build is like 3-year-old. So that means you're missing the better part of like 3 years. So you can't catch up like that. So even governments, I think there's so much burden that they need to really, ensure that some of these things are done. Because even if I'm an entrepreneur and I build a cloud platform, man, it's a hard, steep walk. And of course, AWS will build me to it. Google Cloud will build me to it. But also, I'm not ruling out that we can collaborate. Yes. Because if we're really good, AWS will say, you know what? This guy has figured Southern SADC market. Why don't we partner with him and he provides our data centers? And that means more money left in the continent. Because every time money leaves the continent, it means less opportunity for our people, less opportunity for the government, less development, and so on and so forth. So there is more for government to gain than even individual entrepreneurs. But that actually is where we are heading. But let me bring the point home. The marketplace in itself is a game changer. Imagine if you have 100 innovators in the house. They can only innovate up to 100. But if you have infinite innovators in the house, then you have infinite innovation. I don't rule out someone coming up and providing cloud. And we're happy to support. I don't rule out someone coming out and providing a Ministry of X solution. I don't rule out someone coming and figuring out health system across Africa. I don't rule out someone coming and figuring out health insurance across Africa. Because remember, those are some of the nuances that you understand when you move to different countries. Imagine if you had one insurance that works in 54 countries seamlessly. We don't have that, right? But there's someone who will say, you know what? The capability of software engineering today can actually enable that safely and in profitable and so on and so forth. So that actually opens the door of innovation, because also we believe, and this is my belief, that innovation is equally distributed. Opportunities are not. Platforms are not. So we're starting with platform, which will create opportunities for all devs through community.africastalking.com and marketplace.africastalking.com.
There we go.
Wait. So are you saying the use of tech, if it stimulates the economy,
it must?
Okay. If let's say it does, right?
This no ifs. Is already it does.
Look at Uber.
100%. So that supersedes the concerns around where the data sits.
Okay, maybe I can say a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Remember, nobody knew that data was data until somebody said data is
data. Yes, 100%.
You get what I mean? Like somebody created a narrative that, to be honest, your data is important.
Yeah, like the guy who discovered that diamond is valuable.
But otherwise, guys would be like, yeah. So,
sorry, quick point to it. So I know I'm trying to understand how you think about data sovereignty, because we've talked about it a few times in our conversations.
Yes.
The platform that you're using will always own your data. It's not
Yes.
like your data, because we're in Africa now, some African government or corporation owns my data. If you're using the platform, they own the data. There's no real way.
You actually
it's not-
say, I accept.
It's not really like a
Sign
data
up to my
sovereignty.
rights.
It's a data sovereignty issue.
Yeah.
True. No, that what I'm asking is not a data sovereignty.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how they.
It's interesting. It's interesting to think about and figure it
Yeah.
out. But I'm just saying, unless there's going to be like local companies here that provide the same services as those kind of companies,
Yeah.
the data doesn't sit
The
you.
challenge, yeah.
But let
The
me
money
help out.
challenge.
So 2 years ago or 2021, which is now maybe 5 years, time is running fast, or 2022, we actually thought about, because so when you're running SMS, USSD, you realize
Especially
the
voice.
amount of data that really passes through your platform
Yeah.
is enormous. And the key was not like who is sitting in the data.
No.
In fact, that's not even the problem. The problem was, do I benefit when this data is cashed out? Because mostly that's where I think there is disparity. And there's a platform known as Ilarion,
Yes. Okay.
which we built. It has never shipped like at scale, but Ilarion was supposed to really make sure that it doesn't matter where that data is used.
Okay.
When it makes money, you
get
make
paid.
money.
Right.
Like next level idea. But I feel like it was ahead of its time, because before AI, people are like, I just sign up email, my name.
Quickly.
But you realize that's what people use to sell you a t-shirt. That's what people use to show you an ad in which they're charging, in which these people make money. I think most of those will come up, definitely. Especially with the AI, definitely those are some of the solutions that you see start taking up, because now, if you have less jobs, what does that mean? Now you need to create new jobs. It's not like you'll cease to exist, but people will start being innovative around, how do I track my data to an extent that everyone makes money out of it. And the more valuable your data is, and a good example that is really like upper layer or like top layer is influencers. Look at how influencers make money. I have followers. I can put your brand in front of 2 million people.
Yes.
Maybe you can convert like 1% of that. I charge you maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
And that is a business that has taken up everywhere. Now there is a level of Mr. Beast. There's a level of all these other guys. So for me, it's a game changer in different ways, but definitely that's for sure. And it's good that you are thinking about that and you're thinking about that. Because one of the key things that is becoming apparent is that we cannot assume that data is nothing. That's not even acceptable. It's everything. It's everything. Because if I have your data, bro, the question I ask you is different.
Yes.
The things I could really manipulate you to do, different, right? Yeah. So it's something that we need to do it responsibly, but also, again, make sure that everyone is actually getting
carried along
to them, including the person, the individual, because that I think the companies really cash out on data, honestly speaking. Companies, even startup, but the individuals who that data is collected from, they never get anything.
All right.
Yeah.
In closing,
yes,
what should people be looking out for from Africa's Talking?
So this year we want to go deeper. So it's not just enough to be in 23 countries. It's what relationships do we have there? Can we do a hackathon in 23 cities every month?
23
and stream it? That's where we want to go. That's what we are working hard to do. Can we tell the stories of developers in Congo, in South Africa, in Egypt, in Nigeria? And so eventually people realize, you know what, we are all in this ecosystem. Some may be behind. We can pull them, but there's something everyone can learn from everyone. So I think that's just the excitement we want to see. Can we just carry along different language time zones every month to collaboratively build? And then what products can we build internally for them? Because also there's that conversation. Like, voice has brought a renaissance. Our voice API is 10 years old.
10 years.
From 2014. And ideally, of course, you've had telcos say voice is dead.
Yeah.
But then came AI.
Now
I can call a business, talk to an AI agent. it, and it can execute all my instructions without me waiting for human interaction. But doesn't mean we are eliminating humans. It just means humans are elevating to a more impactful jobs. I don't believe anyone should be. I have a very radical thinking about jobs. I don't think any business that's making money should lay off its people unless they are not doing anything.
Okay.
But if they are doing something, then you'd rather spin off new startups under your brand and let these guys run.
That's ideal.
That's ideal, yes.
And if I'm
which means we should always, yes, of course, but it means that if you wake up to that reality, 2 months to when you need to execute it, it won't work. We'll need to start building with such a future in mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem with that is you're still dealing with people. And
that's also true.
People who don't want to do different jobs.
And that's also a good point.
Yeah, which is why capitalists will say replace them.
Which actually means AI is coming to tell you, be more curious and
100%.
be more daring.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you might have to take up things that you never really thought you would go that early. Yeah. So maybe that's one lesson.
All right. And if I'm a startup, what support can I look for?
From Africa Stocking.
Yeah.
If you're building, we always have the sandbox. 2, we always have free resources for you up to 2 weeks in live environment. So you can get actually a channel, or you can get a contact, a voice number for up to 2 weeks, in the live environment. Another thing you can expect from us, especially as we do in the marketplace and the engagements, is access to markets.
Okay.
Some of the startups today are building incredible things that some of our customers may really need. So we can orchestrate that and see how do we bring people together in a collision space where they share, maybe more networking. So that's another thing we need to. We were trying it last year, but it didn't work as well. How do we do networking events between our customers and ecosystems that we are in? So that as a startup, you have a quick way to acquire new customers.
Nice. Any parting shots?
And if just in addition, if you spend $1,000 with us, that means you can top up your account with $1,000, and you don't have engineering resources in house, you can use our engineers.
Okay.
That's not for free though. It's just like you have access to these 250 top level engineers to help you build your solution.
We'll project manage it.
Yeah.
For you.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Gents, thank you so much for making the time.
Yes.
It's been
We are enjoying Mzansi.
Yeah.
yeah.
Today we are going for the comedy nights somewhere.
Yeah.
You know it.
Do you know who the lineup is?
I don't know, but comedy is the best way to understand a city. So
Good luck.
you're like, you mean? Did you just say that?
You're going to get a lot of shock. I promise you that.
Yeah. And man, shout out to the Amapiano people.
Of course.
They are doing the most.
Amapiano is not South African.
Yeah.
Is what?
Amapiano is not
It's no longer. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
It
man.
is ours.
Yeah. It's no longer. Thing.
And that's the best part. Simple. You can always do something. And you are in.
And the different flavors. When you're working, like, in fact, maybe I didn't mention this. On our community platform, we have a playlist, like 90%.
Playlist.
Yes, Spotify playlist. 90% is Amapiano.
Yes.
90%.
Yeah, in every hackathon, they're like, play Amapiano. It helps us focus. It's spiritual.
They're here.
Yeah.
So guys, you are not building for Mzansi. This is our music, all of us. We have your shareholders.
No, and I need to see your dance moves. You can just walk off stage without any this slide Amapiano dance moves.
Yeah, for sure.
No, man, thank you so much. That's been the Angle Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do like, subscribe, share on all social media platforms. Thank you so much.
Yeah.